There we go. That's better. All right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Miami Dolphins pregame show. Now, as I was saying before, my microphone wasn't working out very well. Last week, 54-51 in overtime. Big win against Seattle. If I had a way to pull up highlights, I will. Maybe I'll try to work on that for next week. But, listen, all you need to know, the big things happened. Unfortunately, we lost Aaron Rodgers. He's out for 3 weeks, broken thumb. But the veteran, Matt Moore, stepped in his place, throwing that deep bomb to Andre Johnson for the W. Folks, we have confidence in Matt Moore. So does Coach Adam Gase. Coach Gase was quoted as saying this week that he's not going to adjust the offense. He's going to keep throwing the ball. He has faith in Matt Moore. He knows the offense. He knows how to run a team. And he's as reliable as a backup as you could ever find in this league. Whether that's true or not, that remains to be seen. But either way, this is Matt Moore's team for the next 3 weeks. This week at the Patriots, next week for the home opener against the Browns, and then at Cincinnati. So, in my estimation, if we can come out at least 2-2 when Rodgers gets back, we have a big opportunity to take this team to the playoffs. And that would be a big deal. We've proven that we can put up points. We have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Although this week, our left tackle, Jack Conklin, and our left guard, Marshall Yanda, have their hands full, as the Patriots do have J.J. Watt on the left side. So they're going to have their hands full trying to protect Matt Moore from J.J. Watt. Very scary individual. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what else we have to match up with tonight. Let's take a look at the Patriots here. That's the Panthers. There we go. Tony Romo. Tony Romo threw for 381 yards last week. Now, we were torched by Cody Kessler to the tune of, 641 yards. It was disgusting what happened to us last week. So we need to get pressure on Tony Romo. We're still out Hankins, so that leaves a big hole in the middle of our defensive line. So we are still vulnerable to the run. Thankfully, the Patriots don't have a bruising back. Charles Sims III, while he is a competent player, he's not that brutal physical force up the middle that Eddie Lacy was. So we shouldn't have too big of a problem with the run game today. We need to put pressure on Tony Romo. So Adam Gase needs to draw up some blitzes. We need to get pressure. We didn't do that at all last week. And that really was almost our undoing. On the wide receiver end, they're not looking too scary. Tavon Austin is fast, but at this stage, he's more of a special teams player. He's a guy that's going to take the returns. He's got that elite speed and elite acceleration. And he's 5'8", so he's going to be hard to find in the pile. But as far as him being a receiver is concerned, we should be able to shut him down pretty decently. Brett Grimes has the size advantage and the power advantage over Tavon Austin. Now, Brandon LaFell's a whole other monster. Brandon LaFell and Vincent Jackson being 6'5", 6'3", 210, and 230, they are big physical forces. And that's something that our cornerback core isn't really made up for. Vernon Hargreaves, as good as he is, and as young as he is, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to handle LaFell or Jackson. Yeah, they're not a threat, but when you look at what they're going up against in us, they do match up well. Tavon does not scare me. D'Angelo, he better have this. But this is where their real dangerous weapon is. Jimmy Graham. Last week, we were absolutely torched by Jason Witten. Jason Witten had his way with our linebackers, and that was completely unacceptable. So we need to find a way to shut down Jimmy Graham, immediately from the get-go, or this is not going to turn out well for our defense. So those are in my estimation the keys to winning this game. Pressure on Tony Romo and somehow corralling Jimmy Graham. If they want to check down 3 or 4 yards, hey, that's fine. but Jason Witten was knocking it out of the ballpark with chunks of 12 to 15 yards every single play. So we need to find a way to curb Jimmy Graham. Now, their offensive line, they have Donald Penn on the left, and he is an elite tackle. Absolutely elite tackle. Tunzel, he's good, but he's a young guy in the making. So, he's not something we have to worry about. Same thing with Chris Watt. Jari Evans is not very good. Chris Hairston, not very good. So their offensive line isn't spectacular. We should be able to draw up some pressure. Seattle had a pretty decent line last week, and we could do nothing with them. So we need to take advantage of this mediocre offensive line. Load up the right side, send some blitzes in, and let's make something happen. Defensively on the ball, J.J. Watt. I don't need to say anything about him. He's the greatest left end in football today. And hats off to him for his Harvey Relief Fund, raising, $57 million, something like that. Hats off to him, but we need to shut him down. Thankfully, two of our best linemen are on the left side. So I do have faith in Conklin. I do have faith in Yanda. I think we can handle him. Yannick on the other side, he's another guy that's young and upcoming, but our line should be able to handle him. Tackle-wise, Mebane is solid. Mebane is a very physical force up the middle, but he's got to go up against Travis Frederick. I think we have the advantage there. I don't think it's any issue. Jerry Hughes, older guy. C.J. Mosley's a house. They have a good middle linebacking core. Mosley and Timmons are very scary when it comes to the middle linebacking position. Timmons especially is one of the league's best middle linebacking blitzers. So if we're going to run the vertical offense, Le'Veon needs to worry about Timmons on that blitz. Willie Young, nothing to be concerned about. And the cornerbacks, Casey Hayward is very, very good. Very, very good. But everyone else is just barely mediocre, league average at best. So I do think our wide receivers line up well with them. We're going to need to get the game, Hunter Hurst Henry, in there, and he needs to make an impact to take a little bit of pressure off of our wide receivers. And their safeties aren't much to worry about either. So I do think we match up very, very well. I think this is a winnable ball game. If we can run the football well, establish the run, we should be able to take advantage of it. Now, the one thing we do have going for us is in practice this week, we ran deep pass play action power, which leads me to believe that we're going to establish the run and then use that to run play action and start taking some shots deep with our speedy wide receivers. Matt Moore going 3 for 300. Hey, bold prediction. Bold prediction. Hey, we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. I think you might be right. I expect a big game from Matt Moore this week. I expect a big game from him. I would rather lean on Le'Veon Bell and our elite offensive line, but, Matt Moore knows our system. Matt Moore's been a Dolphin for quite a long time. So if there's anyone that's capable of running this offense, it's going to be Matt Moore. And I know a couple people are absolutely thrilled to see what Matt Moore does. Let's see. Let's take a look on the injury front here. There it is, injury report. Rodgers, 3 weeks. Jonathan Hankins, we need to get him back. 10 weeks, that's devastating. The fact that we have this gaping hole in the middle of our 4-3 line, it hurts. It hurts. And you're probably right. They will be spread pretty thin. With any luck, they'll also stack the box and try to shut down Le'Veon, which gives us some one-on-one man coverage. And the nice thing about our receiving core, well, they may not be the most elite team. They do have some good speed on their hands. So if we can get some one-on-one matchups, we could probably take advantage of some open field. But Hankins out hurt. our cornerback depth took a little bit of a hit with Shaw, but he'll be back soon. And then our backup running back, I'm not concerned about. He's out for the season. He's on IR. We signed somebody else, so not too concerned. The key to this game is going to be Matt Moore's quarterback play. This is the new NFL, folks. This is how it works. Your quarterback is going to win you games or lose you games. I hope that we don't have to put Matt Moore in a position where we have to lean on him to win this football game, but he proved last week that he does have the ability to win football games. And we're going to need that over the next couple weeks. We need to come out here at least even. And if we do that, the fact that everyone else in the division is 0-1 right now bodes well for our playoff future. So, that being said, it's a relatively short pregame show because we don't really need to do anything else. We're not really making any trades right now. We're just kind of letting our roster work its way up. We don't need to do any scouting. That'll probably start, I believe, next week. Scouting starts. So start thinking about what we need to scout. I personally think we should be scouting primarily defense. We do need some help, especially in the linebacker position. So start thinking about that. We'll focus on that next week. But right now, we're on to New England, folks. So stick with me here. I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to restart the stream on the PlayStation so the connection isn't hot garbage. So stay right there. We'll be back in a few minutes with kickoff and some Miami Dolphins football, folks.